Hey, y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in. Now, on this day, we going to be doing something special. We going to be going over the ultimate baked potato soup. Now, not just the ultimate baked potato soup. This thing going to be loaded, y'all. We ain't playing no games on this loaded baked potato soup. We not going to make it the way you've seen before. Trust me. Now, this is very interesting. Take a look at those ingredients, y'all. It's pretty simple. Just your seasoning. You see some milk in the background, some heavy cream in the background, y'all. Onion, yes. Some garlic, yes. And potatoes. Now, first things first, when you hold that knife the proper way. Make sure those fingers are tucked. Now, see how I'm holding that knife? My finger is not on the spine of that blade. Now, is it? It is tucked, y'all. Thumb tuck, index tuck. Now, why am I showing y'all this? Just in case you want to grow your own garden, keep that piece, y'all. Keep it. And you can grow your own onion garden. I have my onion garden working. Why can't you have yours? It'll save you a little bit of money too. Now, the way we are slicing these now is a julienne slice. So that is what this cut is called. Notice how I'm taking my finger and I am holding that onion in place, y'all. Now, you don't have to do this little cut here, but if you do it, it will help your onion stay uniformed. If that's what you are looking for, okay? You do that right there, that slice, and then you can come up top, all right, to go vertical. So you sliced horizontal, and then you have vertical, and you see we have a nice dice. Now, you have to understand this. It's very imperative. Now, when you cut up your vegetables for your soup, make sure that the vegetables that you are cutting up for your soup can fit on the spoon, okay? So we're doing a julienne, but we have the onion turned the other way. So we're still doing a julienne style cut, all right? But the onion is turned the opposite way. That is the only difference. And we're just going to lay this part flat, and we're going to continue to julienne this onion. And then we're going to turn the onion to the side. And when we turn it to the side, y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we get the onion diced up, right? And take a look. I want y'all to see, though, how the onions look. They're just diced up. Standard, pretty good dice on the onions is what it's all about, all right? Now, once you get your onions to a certain dice phase, like that, you know you are good to go. They don't have to be perfect, though. But if you follow those steps, you go from that julienne cut, turn your onion sideways, and then cut down again. And then your onions are diced, all right? Now, what we're going to do with this bacon is the same thing. I've laid this bacon out. Now, I have about 6 strips of bacon that I'm going to be using here in total. So I have the bacon laid out on top of each other. That's 6 strips. We're going to take these strips and then we're going to turn them, right? Because we want these bacon strips to be diced. So that's the whole purpose of it. That's why we're going to go ahead and make sure we turn them. But I'm going to fold it. And then I'm going to go ahead and get to dicing. That's what it's all about. Now make sure you have a sharp knife. Make sure that your hands, your fingers are protected. Because your fingers are your money makers, all right? You need your fingers. You need your hands, all right? So we got that going. So we're going to turn this back the normal way it was before because this is the piece that we had folded, y'all. And we're going to go ahead and get to dicing. Finish dicing. Now we have the onions and the bacon in this cast iron skillet. Now I had the skillets already on high heat. That way when the bacon and the onions drop down in there, we had some sizzle in the pan. You really want that pan to have some sizzle on first contact. You don't want to drop your product in a pan that has no sizzle. That is not what you want. You need it to have a little bit of sizzle. That way it starts working immediately. Now, I didn't say you wanted to have a burn. So monitor your heat level. And everybody's heating elements are different. Even if you do have gas, every gas element is different. Every electric burner is different. because we cook with different equipment, different types of equipment. So monitor your heat level with the equipment that you have, all right? Now, I had this on medium to high heat when I dropped it because I'm working with an electric stovetop, all right? So if you had this with the gas range, I might would have this on maybe medium high, all right? Instead of more medium to high, it would be more medium than to high, all right? Because we know gas is a faster conductor and a more efficient conductor and the best conductor of heat there is, except for steam. Did you know that? Did you know that steam produces heat at a faster rate than fire does? Yes, it does. So when you see something steaming, please be cautious. Now take a look at that bacon, y'all. That bacon is cooked thorough. We caramelize those onions too as well. Now, we use golden Yukon potatoes, y'all. We cubed them up. Now, rinsed them off. And here we go. Now we're going to go ahead and drop them in this water. This water is already boiling. That is chicken base that I'm using. Y'all, better than bouillon, chicken base is what I'm using right there. That is a teaspoon of it. You can see that was a teaspoon, and I used a teaspoon of it, all right? Mixing that in there. I also have some butter in that water already. I used just a quarter stick of butter, y'all. We're going to drop a bay leaf in there too. We're going to make sure that we get some onion powder in there too as well, y'all. Now, I used about 3 tablespoons of onion powder. Now, I'm going to let you know this. You know your taste buds. Season according. Now, also know this. When you are making a soup, you need to season more, much more, than you would normally season if you were seasoning, say, a steak. Say, for instance, you were making a sauce. You would need less seasoning. Why? Because this is a water-based product that we're working with right here at this moment in time, y'all, okay? So you see what I'm using. All the seasonings, Tony Saturated black pepper, paprika, garlic powder, y'all. We're going to put some Montreal chicken seasoning in that thing too. Right there. Yeah, all right. So we got our potatoes working in there, all right? And we want to put a little bit of salt in this batch right here. Not a lot. Typically, you want to put extra salt in there, but not in this case, y'all. And look at that bacon and onion. Look at that, y'all. Ooh, I'm telling you, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get that in now too, y'all. We're going to get that into our soup base. Whether you know it or not, this is not the whole thing. You got to stick around and see how you get your soup to look the way that soup looked at the beginning of the video, y'all. I'm talking about this is something totally different. So we got these potatoes boiling. We got the caramelized onions in there too, right? We have the bacon in there, right? And all our flavor agents in there too. So now we working with some heavy cream, y'all. I have 2 cups of heavy cream in this sauce pot right here. Now be careful. Don't let it overflow. Don't let it overflow. So that is milk that I'm pouring in now too. So that is 2 cups of milk that I have in there as well. So I have 2 cups of heavy cream that I'm working with that I brought up to a boil. And before it overflowed, you don't have to do that now. Once it gets to a simmer and begins to go to a rolling boil, go ahead and put your milk in. Don't let it rise the way I let that rise all the way up, y'all, okay? You ain't got to do that, okay? All right, so now we have that milk in there with the heavy cream, and we're getting that up to a simmer, and we're getting that up to a rolling boil. And once we get that up to that simmer, we get it up to that rolling boil. And if you can do it in time, lift it up and hold it over the heating element, y'all. Y'all see that? You see how it rolls up? But I was able to catch it in time. So I did this intentionally, y'all. I want to show you, you can save it. You see, ain't no mess. I ain't make no mess. I really didn't make no mess, y'all. It is what it is, y'all. I just want to show you, you can catch it in time. Just lift it up. Don't panic. Don't just cut the heat off because it's going to overflow. Just lift it off that heating element. All right, y'all, we adding sour cream into the mix now, too. So we got the sour cream. We're dropping into it. Now, listen, I use Great Value sour cream. Yes, I did. I got it from Walmart, y'all. I sure did. Walmart not paying me. None of these grocery stores are paying me. I'm going to use the product that I can use and afford to use, okay? It's sour cream, all right? So I get mine from Walmart. You get yours from wherever you want to get it from. If I would have got it from Kroger, I would have got it from Kroger. If I would have got it from Tom Thumb, I would have got it from there too, y'all. So it doesn't matter. Just look at what I'm using, okay? It's all about the ingredients, not the location where you got your ingredients from, okay? All right, so we're whisking in that sour cream. Y'all, it's a shame we have to do that nowadays when we cook and produce and drop a video, y'all, that we have to say, oh, y'all, you can get where you want to get it from. Because people complain. I'm like, oh, a great value. Every time I see a video with great value in it, I just leave it. Well, bye. You can leave. It's all good, baby, because we going to keep it pushing. All right? Now, see that sour cream? We put 2 teaspoons of sour cream in this, y'all. Yes, we did. And this is now 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of heavy cream that we put in first before the milk. Because remember, we put the heavy cream in first, brought that to a rolling boil, played with it a little bit. I showed you how you can catch it. We added the milk into it, brought that to a rolling boil, played with it a little bit, showed you how you can catch it. And now we've added the sour cream. We're bringing that to a rolling boil. And notice how this is thickening, how thick it is. Now it's time for the cheese. Look, it's not shaking. It's not shaking. It's not moving. This is because it is fresh cheddar cheese that we have grated and fresh Colby Jack cheese that we have grated. Now, I know you may not want to grate your own cheese and you may feel like it's not that big of a difference, but if you were to buy a block of cheese, which standardly costs the same price as the shredded cheese, an 8-ounce block of cheese typically costs the same price as a block of shredded cheese. Buy 1 in 1 and taste. See, can you taste the difference between the pre-shredded cheese and you taking the cheese and shredding it yourself? See, can you taste the difference? Not only taste it, but spot the difference. Now, we're working with this on low heat, y'all. This is about level 2 or level 3 on my electric stove top, y'all. Okay? We want to bring it to a small boil. Just a small boil. And we're mixing all the cheese in. Notice we didn't lump all that cheese in. We took our time and we folded the cheese into this cream sauce, this bechamel sauce, whatever sauce you want to call it, y'all. Okay? It's a cheese sauce. All right? So we have it working. We have it working. And we're not letting anything burn. Because if the cheese burns, it ruins everything, y'all. So now this is on medium, low heat levels. Going from 2 to maybe 4. And now look how thick this has gotten, y'all. What you just saw me drop in was some cornstarch. I used about a half a cup of cornstarch to thicken this to the consistency that I felt it needed to be for the amount of soup that I was making. The amount of soup that I made was over a gallon. Over a gallon of soup. So we have to look at how much soup we are making in comparison to the ratio of the people we are serving and also the ingredients that we're using. So now you've seen me pour into this milk. We're phasing milk in now. A total of 2 cups of milk will be phased in to this. Now, it's still working. You've seen me put cornstarch. Half a cup of cornstarch went in total. We've used 2 cups of milk. We've used 2 cups of heavy cream. And in total, for that shredded cheese, we used about a pound of shredded cheese because we are making this, again, in more of a larger size proportion or scale. And now we're adding more cheese too because we want to thicken it up and we want to make sure it's thick enough. Now, we are using cornstarch instead of flour. Do you know what that does? That makes this more of a gluten-free dish because we didn't use any flour. It's not dairy-free, but it's gluten-free because we use cornstarch as our thickener instead of flour. Notice how that cornstarch works. Look at the color of this sauce. Notice how it changed over time. When you use fresh shredded cheese that you've done yourself or someone has done recently, not bagged shredded cheese that could have been sitting there for we don't know how long, that has white powder over it, which is probably cornstarch to keep it from sticking together. I don't want cornstarch on the cheese, but I do need cornstarch inside of this sauce that we are making to thicken this soup, y'all. And I mean, it's going to be fire. This going to be for real. This is going to be real good, y'all. All right, y'all. We're to the point to where we're going to strain out the soup. You're like, what are you doing? I thought that was the potatoes, the bacon, and all the flavor that you put in. Yes. It surely is. Like I said, you ain't never seen a potato soup quite like this. So we're going to strain, remove. You see that? Keep that. That is a soup within itself. Keep all of that broth. All that flavorful broth is not going to go to waste, y'all. But take a look now. Ooh, ooh, yeah. That looks good, y'all. Yes, it does. This is that sauce going in there to thicken it, to thicken up our soup. Yes, take a look at it. You got your bacon in there. You got your potatoes in there, your onions in there that's been caramelized. Think about the fact that we caramelize these onions, y'all. We caramelize these onions and that bacon. We got that in a cast iron skillet. You don't have to have a cast iron, but we got it in a skillet. We got ours in a cast iron. And whatever skillet you have, use that. That's going to add another layer of flavor to your soup. Take a look at that, y'all. Now, if you want that right there, it's ready to serve. Yes, it is, y'all. But guess what? It ain't done. What? No, because we now have to incorporate the broth. We have to mix in. We have to fold in. We have to phase in. Right here, y'all. This is us phasing in the rest of the broth that we use to make the potato soup. That's the catch. We don't want it to be a thick, cheesy soup. But if you want it to be super, super thick, you just saw how you could eat it. But we want this to be thick, and we have to understand that even though we're adding this broth in and you feel it's going to thin it out too much, no, because we added cornstarch into here as well. Keep that in mind. We have heavy cream in here. Keep that in mind. We have those cheese varieties in here too as well. Keep that in mind. And also, those potatoes, what do they produce? Starch. Keep that in mind. So as we are folding in 2 cups, that's what we're using here, 2 cups of the potato soup broth. This is what we're coming to. And you see, it is not thinning the way that you might think that it would thin, y'all. No, take a look. We are phasing it in, and it's not thinning the way you think it's going to thin because of what it has in it. Everything that it has in it. Take a look. See for yourself. Look at that bacon. Just, ooh. Y'all see that little drip to the side? Ooh, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. This is how you do it, y'all. I mean, that is looking outstanding. Yes, it is. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Think about the way we made this soup. All the phases and steps that we went through to make this soup. Was it a lot? Some say yes. Some say no. Because all I say is I cut up the potatoes. I drop the potatoes into the water. Call it a day and season it up. Now, what am I doing right here? Y'all, this is fresh dried garlic. Fresh dried garlic. Garlic that I had that I never got to use. Instead of throwing that away, that hard garlic, get you a zester. And zest that garlic in there. I mean, it gives it pop. It gives it that, woo, that you need, not just in your soup, y'all, in everything. And when you get to the finishing of your soup, you would think it would break, but it won't. Add some butter in there. Not a lot, but just enough. How much did I add in right here, y'all? Less than a quarter of a stick. More so like a teaspoon of butter, y'all. Just a touch. Now look at the sheen. Look at the shine this soup is now producing because of that butter. Can you see that? If you wonder why in the restaurant those soups have that extra sheen, or when you see a soup online, how it has that sheen, it's not just because of the lighting. It is the butter. Now what we're doing, we're pouring the rest of that potato soup broth in there. Look at that, y'all. That's what we want. It is very thick, but it is not overly thick. And if you want it thinner, just add some more potato broth because you kept it, right? But if you don't, go ahead and get your cheese in there now. See, you forgot about that. You forgot that we had some more cheese that we needed to add into this soup to finish up that thickness. Oh, yeah. Now, this soup, I feel, it's about ready to serve. Yeah, it's about ready to serve. But we need to make sure because we want that cheese to melt through all the way. And that can happen sometimes. The cheese don't melt through all the way. You need it to melt through all the way. All right, not to stick. So keep folding it in. Don't get overly excited and feel like you've reached the end. You have, but just finish it. Now comes time to bowl it up. Now take a look at that, y'all. I mean, take a look at that. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? You see the sheen. You can see the sheen that the butter added. Look at those potatoes, y'all. Those potatoes look so good. Now, if you got big hands, like I got big hands, and you need a bigger dish, well, by all means, get you a bigger dish. Because I needed a bigger dish, y'all. I mean, yes. We're going to fill it up. Take a look at that. You can see the bacon through that. You see the color through that. And remember, it's not like we truly used a lot. We used boiling water. We dropped the potatoes in there, dropped our seasonings in there. We cooked up some bacon, y'all, right? And some onions in the cast iron skillet. Dropped that in the water with the potatoes too, y'all. Made a little cream sauce, right? We did that. And then what? Add the cream sauce, then strained out. Then strained out the potatoes in the water, kept the broth, right? Look at that, y'all. Take a look at that there, y'all. That looks so good. That threw me all the way off, y'all. But that's what we did. Boil the water, boil the potatoes, season it up, cook some bacon and some onions, throw that in the water with the potatoes, made a sauce to go with that, y'all. Incorporated that all together. That's what we did. That's what we did. We kept the strained water from the soup, which is a broth, put that together. And take a look at that. Take a look at that, y'all. I mean, just look at it. That's what you made just from that. No matter where you decide to shop, shop for you, shop for your family. I mean, take a look at that. Ooh-wee. That look good now. Now, if y'all see there's some we miss, let us know so we can add it to the playlist. Now, y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all on the next side. Thank y'all for watching.